Yeah, Jericho.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Sorry, I just got to keep the video off.
That's cool.
I know Jesse said he's not going to join. Do you think it's going to
It's
be a
all
light
just,
touch?
yeah, it's all just, so I can't imagine many people are going to join. Um, do you have anything pressing?
It's something I can just post. I created an RFC for multi-arch build using BuildKit. Um, so
Oh,
I mentioned it to Juan. He's not probably not going to be able to join. So, I could just join next week and see if we can get a quorum and have people take a look at it and give thoughts.
yeah. Can you post it? Because I missed that, and that sounds super interesting, actually.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I mean, I just created it this morning. I've been working on it, but yeah, I'll post it. I mean, I think if we're not going to get enough people, then I think I'll drop, and then we can do this again next week. And
I mean, I'm playing the European card. We take the entire of August off.
oh, look, we got Juan. Okay, cool. Um, right.
Move on.
Hello, guys. You have me?
Hello.
I don't actually have anything really.
Could you hear me?
Can hear you now, yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I still have my video off because I've got stuff going on behind me. Um, I don't know if you guys want to go through the agenda or if you want to just quickly, I can talk about my RFC and then you can have some more context and ask any questions, and then you can review it at your leisure, whatever you want.
No, I'm happy to hear about your RC. I just want to say one thing first. I've got some website changes that I'll push to you guys by kind of Monday, just with the graduating stuff on it. And
Awesome.
we'll get that rocking and rolling. Fun
Nice.
stuff.
More
Uh,
important, more important. Did you rest, Aiden?
yeah. I just
Yeah.
needed a little bit of just to step away for a month or so, and now I'm
Okay.
ready and eager again, which is
Oh,
good. It's
great.
it's fun. I shall
And
now cede my
that's good.
time to the representative of Rapid 7.
You're funny. Um, okay, cool. So yeah, I haven't been able to join these things because I've had other conflicts. But I did see that the RFC for rebasing the build pack layers was approved. So I probably need to go back and start looking at that. Uh, I know there was a lot of discussion going back and forth.
Yeah.
And I took a hiatus from this meeting, unfortunately. But anyhow, so we have been,
Just for context, I did for a month as well, and highly recommend if you feel like you're low on energy, just stepping away for a few weeks and come on back.
yeah, no, I hear you. Um, so what was I going to say? We've been building multi-arch images for a while, but we have this like custom CI script that we use that basically like launches multiple agents on different platforms and then stitches the images together. It's fine, but I it's very complicated, and I think that like it's more expensive to run it that way, and there's all these caveats to it. So like what I'd like to do is build multi-arch images with BuildKit using emulation if possible, and it is possible. So that's what I came up with. So the question is, I assume no one's done this, right? Like I looked through the RFCs, it doesn't seem like we have done this since we've talked about multi-arch stuff.
With like pack build,
Yes.
multi-arc output, no, I remembered when I was working on this, that was what I called phase three, because we focus on creating multi-arc builders and build packs. And then the pack build part, and I think Aidan gave a talk about it in some of the KubeCon things. We said, okay, we're not going to go through that way because it has, it could have multiple things behind. So, but I do remember a guy, I forgot his name, that he created some kind of integration with BuildKit through
Mhm.
Pack. He gave us a demo, and that's it. We didn't move forward on that path. That's the only thing I remember related to running Pack build with BuildKit behind the scenes.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was Eric Ripko or something.
Eric, yeah,
Yeah,
that one.
I remember I started from his repo, and it was kind of like it just wasn't really the way we were doing things, and I couldn't quite figure it out to get it to work right. So I
Yeah,
was like, I think I have to start from scratch.
Just for context, I know Eric very, very well. Um, as in we work together and stuff. So if you need anything from him, just shout at me.
Okay. That probably would have been helpful. I would have appreciated that a while ago. But that's good to know. I mean, like basically, I've come up with a proof of concept. If we don't like it, we want to go revisit what Eric did and see if that's a better approach. That's fine. But I just posted the RFC. But long story short, like if you remember, Juan, we did. I mean, I can share my screen too if you guys want to see. Let me. I have a lot of tabs open, so this is kind of a mess. But let me pull up a tab where I'm actually. Yes. Okay. Cool. I've got an app, and I am using it to run GitHub Actions to run through the builds, so you can look at the output and see what the output is and compare with whatever Pack does. Like I've tried to make it so that if you want to see this all in action, you can go see it. So let me share my screen quickly. Share screen. Disallow. And which window is it? Sorry, I have so many windows. Yeah, I guess we're just going this way. Okay, cool. So I mean, like I can show you the bits and pieces of it, but I'm going to show you the output of what it looks like. So like basically there's two ways we're doing it right now. One is with a Docker file. And so if we look at pack build initial build, here we go. What does the command look like? And I've had to modify the lifecycle to make this kind of work as expected. And I can talk about that, but basically I made it so you need to be in experimental mode. You pass in this flag called build kit, and then you give it a builder. You have to create the builder with build kit so that it has the Docker driver. So like that's something prerequisite that the user would have to do. But once you have that done, essentially what this does is this is going to generate a Docker file. We can get past it. There it. Why isn't it showing the Docker file? Oh, maybe we're not running in verbose mode. That's kind of annoying. We are not running in verbose mode. That is annoying. Okay, but you can see the Docker file from the output. So I can modify that so that you can see the details. But essentially what we're doing is creating a Docker file. And in it, we are doing from statements. Let's see, like we're loading the builder image. And then we are extracting the order.toml from the builder so that we can figure out what build packs are going to participate. And then if we end up doing a custom build pack, you have to like build that on the fly. But anyhow, there's a couple things that happen. But long story short, we create a Docker file, and then we have a bunch of from statements. There's our yeah, this is our builder. I have a modified builder that has a modified lifecycle that allows you to skip change ownership because that was breaking things with LLB. But long story short, you create a Docker file, and then it's basically just going to run the lifecycle commands. Like we have a bunch of stuff here. There's so much output. I apologize for this. I mean, I'll have to add verbose so you can actually see the file, but here we go. You can see we're modifying, creating the order toml file. And then we get to the life cycle. Okay, and essentially this is just running the life cycle commands one after another. Analyze, detect, I forget the other one, build, and then export. And after it's done, it produces an image and then it publishes the image. The Docker file approach I did initially because it was just easy and it worked. But this is essentially shelling out and saying Docker build X, blah, blah, blah. So I figured we probably wouldn't like this, but I wanted to keep it there because it's the easiest to follow and it's the most reliable so far. Then we have an LLB version, which is essentially just running the run commands and interacting with the BuildKit SDK directly through the API.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyhow, essentially this is it. This
How does
setup.
export work in that? I mean, I can probably figure my way around the other stages, but how does export work in that? You're effectively in the Docker file approach, you're building an image effectively, and you're exporting that image, but you're just using the Docker file as a way of getting multi-arch, or
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. Export works. It's basically running for each platform. You're doing ARM64 export, and then it pushes it to a registry with whatever credentials you gave it. Does it for ARM64, AMD64, and then there's a final step.
Yeah.
Where it stitches the images together. The downside to this right now is that you have to push a tag somewhere to get that to work. That's the thing I don't like about this right now, but I mean, I would be fine with it if I had to, if this was like the, if you had to have a gotcha or some kind of caveat to get this all working, and you'd have to have these intermediate tags that just sat around and, it would be fine with me. I wouldn't make a big deal out of it, but we can get around that by using the OCI layout, but I haven't gotten that to work yet.
So to some extent, we're using Docker and or BuildKit to give us the virtualization for free, to say, run this phase on this architecture on Linux ARM64. Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I do remember that your talk mentioned that part using QEMU, the emulator thing. And, Docker already solved that with BuildKit. So what we are just doing is taking advantage of how they solve it and try to glue together with Pack, BuildPacks, and BuildKit behind the scenes. Right? That's what I understood too. I mean, one question for resolving every phases for the life cycle. Pack already knows which arguments I need to pass through life cycle in the container to run. You are already using that, right? It's like,
yes.
I mean, okay, so you essentially like everything that Packet's already doing when we run the life cycle in a container. Instead of doing that, we're doing the same thing with BuildKit or inside BuildKit, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I went through your README, which I think it's good because it explains a lot of these things. I didn't see the code, but I mean the approach for me was fine. I don't know how much of the current Pack implementation you have to like modify, or if you just branch like a new implementation for BuildKit and re-implementing the build command and stuff. I didn't check that. I don't know how it went through.
There's I'm trying to remember all the pieces because I've been jumping around between lifecycle and this one. There is an interface, like the phase interface.
Yeah.
So I think we just create a new one. And like I didn't modify any of the existing Pack code. The idea being, if people are building today with Pack single architecture, they're going to keep doing that always. And then if they want to start using build kit, they would pass that build kit flag and start using it. Like
Okay.
based on my experience, I want to make everything an opt-in situation. Like nothing's going to get
Okay.
modified from the way pack works because there's just something's going to break. We don't know what it's going to be yet, but
Yeah.
something.
And anything on the contract with the flags. That's the other thing that for me was I wanted to ask, because yes, we have this dash dash build kit. Okay, I'm gonna say, Pack, I want to use this experimental feature build kit, and then we have multiple flags. Like for me, are like exposing build kit flags,
Yeah.
right, on Pack CLI. So thinking on this is, okay, right now we're using BuildKit, but suppose in a future something comes up and it's a new one engine to do this, right? So is there a way we can like think on having these flags right now for BuildKit, but if we want to extend it in the future with something else, we don't have like to expose the whole arguments for BuildKit or another one, because it's like pack build, it's gonna have a huge amount of flags to work with it, and maybe will be confusing. That's the only thing, because I saw that there are many build kits, Dutch, Builder, Catch, and things like that. And in the future, if we want to like use another feature from BuildKit, we will have to expose it through somehow in pack build. So I don't know if there is a better way to do that. But apart from that, uh, I saw the problem with the life cycle and changing the permissions in folders, and you already have something to avoid that. That makes sense. I believe that that's something we can discuss, and why lifecycle needs that, and if we need to change it because we are like running a container that inside is running some emulation for different architectures and probably have some constraints on it, we need to disable it. I think that part, it's something that good to discuss. But I like the way you basically work around it. Like do not run this permissions change comment. I don't want it. And then also the layout part that could solve this tagging and creating the manifest index and everything when pushing. I don't know if we did you try to use what we built for creating the indexes and the manifest on pack, or
So
you
actually,
didn't?
it's funny you say that because we're all using like Kiro and AI, Claude to do stuff,
Yeah.
and it just used the Docker manifest commands by itself. But I realized actually this morning, I'm like, we already have all this logic built into Pack, so I'm going to change it so it uses the logic we already added to Pack because I want to.
Oh, okay.
I want to use all the built-in features. So yes, I will modify that.
Okay.
And actually, you mentioned the OCI layout thing. One thing about the OCI layout that was a challenge is that in order for it to work, you need to have the run image downloaded
Yeah.
and saved somewhere.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like it looks like when you do it with Pack, it does it before it starts doing the Docker commands. Like it pulls the image at some point and copies it. Like
Yeah.
Pack.
Pa-
So
Pack like have like a local registry.
Yep.
In dot pack folder, I create like a local registry where I pull everything that I need to run like an offline build with the layers and stuff there. And then pack do that, but does that, save it in a registry in the local folder, like it's like in a registry structure, and then like inject those path and things to the pack build command. So in theory, it was like, okay, when you're gonna do like image fetch and everything, pull what you need, in when you're running on the layout mode, then those implementations go through the path where it's gonna look into that local registry, and it's expecting to have everything there. That's how it works. And then the image is also, when you push it and save it, it's saving on that local registry. So in theory, it's like what I did was implementing the different interfaces for the image fetcher and the actual app image interface when you invoke the save and everything to work with a local registry in the file system. That's how it works, more or less.
Okay, that sounds actually perfect. Like the agent that I'm using wants to it already did this, but I can revert the change.
Okay.
It wants to have the analyzer. I think that was the lifecycle command. It wants the lifecycle pull the image. It wants to do that on the fly rather than have Pack do it before you start the Docker build part. I don't know why it wants to do it that way, but if you want to have Pack orchestrate the pulling of the run image and have it available on disk, either way, like if you have a preference on how you want to do that.
I mean, if I think it's gonna be more easy because when we want to run the build kit, it's just actually to run the app image, the life cycle part. So everything that we do before, which is actually Pack job to prepare the environment to run the life cycle, I think we can try to keep that logic that it's already working, because that will give us less problems when people is using it. So in theory, Pack as a platform is just to prepare the lifecycle execution environment to run all the phases, analyze, build, whatever, right? So that's what I want to do. So if I put BuildKit in the middle, what I understand is, okay, I want to run the lifecycle, but inside the BuildKit engine, because it offers me the multi-arc thing. So then I have to prepare the BuildKit engine with in the OCI layout part is like Pack prepares where is the run image, where is everything, and mount some internal path to lifecycle, because for lifecycle perspective, it doesn't care if it's OCI layout or registry or the local daemon. For lifecycle, it doesn't care, because it's just creating or taking the implementation for the different interfaces. So that's what Pack is doing when create this OCI, this local registry. So if it's already doing that, I believe what we need to do is just find a way how to mount and do the same thing for BuildKit without having to like going through a new way to do that during the analyzer. Because for the analyzer, right now, it already knows how to resolve the local registry to find the layers and the zip files and everything. So I will try to avoid that way, unless there is like some blocker or something that is not compatible. But I don't know. You are dealing with it. You can show me, hey, this guy wants to do this because blah blah, and we can try to figure it out. But for me, that's how it works. Because Pack has this Pack build and save it into the daemon, Pack build and save it into the registry, and Pack build and save it into the OCI layout. And the execution path for all of them, it's like the same thing. The only thing that it's changing is some interfaces and implementations, and maybe some arguments and variables that only works in one way or the other. So I think that could be that we should keep that. But again, unless there is something, there is an RFC for the OCI layout part where I put all that explanation. Maybe you can give it the context to the coding agent that you're using and say, hey, guys, take a look at that and see how it works. And let me know why you want to do it in a different way. I think that could be a good input for the coding agent to get context about it.
Okay. Yeah, that's I mean, that's what they're really good for, because like we all put a lot of documentation and information in these RFCs, but we don't always read them later when we go to use stuff. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
So I had a thought here. I think that the reason I'm not promoting this, that we need to do this, but I think that the reason that it wants to have the analyzer pull the run image during the build is that it wants to have a Docker file. Like essentially what it wants to do, and it currently does, is it can produce a Docker file, and then you could take that Docker file and just run it and say Docker build kit build whatever, and then it would. Pack has done its job. Like Pack said, okay, I know I need all these arguments. These are the folders and paths I need to copy from this directory or whatever.
Yeah.
You just take this Docker file and say Docker build kit build, and it will produce your artifacts. I still think Pack needs to be involved, because at the end of the day, we're still running the exporter to push an image to a registry, and then we have to take that image and then stitch it together into a manifest list. So I think your OCI layout, like Pack still needs to be orchestrating some of this stuff. Like I don't know that I can run a Docker file approach is really the way I want it to go. That's just the way that it initially. So
but one question, because I see that part. I mean, the one that I do not understand at which point it happens is, when do you create this Docker file? Because I can see that we have this run, and then each phases, right? Run analyzer, run detector, run the other one. And in theory, if the run and what you are putting after the run, the whole command, came from whatever Pack already knows, that command, it's supposed to, I mean, when I'm running Pack build with OCI layout, you will see that the analyzer and the flags that Pack pass through the analyzer have everything it needs for the OCI layout, because it already prepared the environment for that. So if we can actually like put the command there that Pack will run at that moment, would it work?
Yeah, you're saying we need to have like a separate command that Pack would allow you to do the OCI layout stuff? Is that what we're saying?
I mean, if you do it and you check in verbose mode, you will see that when Pack runs the container to run the analyzer, Pack is already passing through like CNB lifecycle analyzer, the bunch of things, and then several arguments. Hey, the local repo that you're gonna point to, it's on this path, and mount it into the container. So what I'm thinking is, because this Docker file is dynamic, right? It's being created on the fly before running build kit. So what I'm saying is, whenever you are creating or appending the run command for each phases, if you can like do the same thing that Pack will do right now when it's running that container with that phase, then maybe you can work around many things.
Yeah, I think that is what's all right. So actually, I ran this locally. This is a separate folder, but like this is what the Docker file looks like, so that you can see it. You've got the
Okay.
AY command.
Okay, so how we are injecting that command right now on this Docker file?
Okay. Tried to make it more readable. Let me just go back up to the Docker file. How are we injecting it? Essentially, it's running pack figures out. There we go. Figures out the run image, and then it figures out if it needs to mount any directories as volumes. So we've got a cache volume.
Okay.
What else?
But this is like new logic, right? In the path that you implemented for BuildKit.
Yes. Yep.
Okay,
But
so
it's using what Pack already knows, and instead of running the commands through Docker run commands, it's just saying I need to be able to run these things in here and adding them as statements to this.
Okay, so what happened if you try to do it with the OCI layout thing?
Yeah, so I did try this, but I haven't. I need to go back and modify it. But essentially, what happens is this doesn't work because it doesn't have access to the run image, so it can't find some metadata.
Oh, but maybe is because we didn't mount that local registry, or in your BuildKit path you are skipping the pooling and creating this local registry before running the analyzer.
Okay. Yeah. So I can get this to work. I mean, like what you've given me for context here is really helpful. So I can get it to work using the registry, and I can compare, like basically I can come up with a couple of different approaches. Like my whole goal with this RFC is I don't want to just propose a solution. I want to have it working so that if you like it, and I already do have it working. And so like the main things that I wanted to get your input on is like, okay, so there's basically two approaches. One is a Docker file approach where we're running, we're doing a shell command and we're saying Docker build x build blah blah blah, and like this is one supported approach. And then the other supported approach is LLB, where we have no reliance on the shell command Docker build x build. We're just using the API, the SDK for BuildKit.
Okay.
So I assume you're not going to want to use this one, and we'll want to use the LLB approach if we merge this and we're using this in the code base. I assume you probably don't want to use the Docker file approach. Like this is where I wanted to get some thoughts from you. Like I don't know if I'm explaining.
Okay. But did you put it in the RFC like explicitly with this BuildKit mode and both approaches, or did you just try like saying, hey, the RFC is for extending Pack to run with a different engine behind the scenes that could be BuildKit or anything else, or whatever we want to do it? Because that's what I don't know if getting into implementations details on the RFC, it's going to make the conversation harder. And if you keep the RFC like, yes, right now it's BuildKit, but I don't want to discuss it with BuildKit. Let's say we want to use a different engine and we want to modify Pack build to do a different engine. Maybe if we're thinking on that way, we're going to get into the question I have with the flags and the arguments in the CLI, and we can like make the RFC simpler, have the discussion, and then all the problems we are facing with LLB or whatever, we keep it after the RFC and implementation. Like this is implementation's details for Pack that will put that conversation outside the RFC discussion, and maybe will be faster to approve it.
Okay.
I don't know. That's That's what I'm thinking right now.
I have another README here. Like when I started doing this, I was like, let me create a README and document all this stuff. You're saying,
Uh-huh.
let me see here, future work, Podman, where's build? There we go, build up, perfect. Future work, support for Podman build up platform. Like basically, if we can get this approach to
Uh-huh.
work for BuildKit, it should then also be possible to do the same thing for
Yeah.
build up.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Suppose that the RFC focused the conversation, maybe build it because it's the one we're going to test it on it. But let's say we want to do it for Podman and build it because Podman offers something better. So
yeah,
if we can move the conversation in the RFC to like include both, so we will need some abstractions there on what we want to do and how. Maybe that conversation will be easier to have and get feedback on the approach. And then if we agree on that, on the implementation for BuildKit, we can have all this discussion, but it's going to be like a packed conversation for implementing that RFC, in particular for BuildKit scenario. And then if we want to do it for Podman, we are not going to need a new RFC, just a different implementation for the same RFC. And it's like we can iterate better on that way.
okay. I think that's fine. So I will, like, I need to go back and get the OCI layout part to work. But
Yeah.
Basically going back to my RFC, I mean, like, to me, like, what I want to do is I have a little bit of momentum to get it going now. So it would be
Okay.
nice to kind of like, if people like this idea and there's not a lot of objections, then if we can put it in experimental mode and people can use it and play with it and
Yeah.
like I would probably start using it in our own build environment and then be able to give feedback if we find issues, etc. But anyhow, like what I don't want is for this, we start the conversation and then it takes a year, and by the time that
Yeah.
I've moved on to this.
I hope it doesn't. But I know that when I try to talk about these things, was really difficult to get feedback because most of the people, I mean, probably Joe or Terrence do not have like the whole details on the implementation part, so they focus on the main use case and stuff. So
Yep.
that's why my suggestion will be because the approval at the end came from there. So if we can move that conversation in a high level part without a lot of details, just we want to do this, and maybe it will be simpler to express the idea. Probably that will make things faster on approval part because less things for discussing and stuff, so it's going to be easier. We will have problems in the implementation, and that's fine, but we move faster once the RFC is approved. I will keep the implementation that you have and the proof of concept. That's great. And maybe the other part, which I think it's fine, but yeah, maybe the user experience part is good because that was my first thought. How we can make the interface in the pack build, if you think it like, okay, right now it's build kit, but what happens if we want to do it for Podman? How we're going to handle the interface? So that part, it's part of the discussion. I will focus on that. And then regarding the execution mode, when pack have to run lifecycle, what's the difference between running pack right now with Docker and everything, and how is different with this new engine build kit? And if there is a new one, how could be different? if we can like agree on the high level architecture on that part, I believe that's it. That's what I would like to see on the RFC and have the discussions in that level, because probably Terence and Joe can help us better without getting into details. And most of these details, as you already have it in your branch, it's like more, more a packed discussion and things. I don't know if that helps,
No, that does.
but that's how I will try to see if we can move forward. I think that what you have, I will not, if it's working and you are using it in your company, I do not need any other thing. It's working and you're using it. That's fine. So let's just try to see how we can abstract the use case you already have in a way that we can get feedback easily for the community and get the approval. And that's it. The other things like for OCI layout, even on the manifest creation part, I will not like spend a lot of time there right now. If you can make it work, that's fine. But because it's gonna be released on an experimental mode, and when we release it, we can say, hey, these are the caveats we have on this implementation. Use it on your own risk. If you don't like it, that's fine. And then we can iterate on improving the feature later. So that's the only thing, honestly, for me. Uh, the interface on the pack build and how different will be if we can like specify something on the RFC to say, hey, you want to do it, this is how it should work for BuildKit right now, but for Podman in the future, these are the considerations and that kind of things. These are the problems, and if there is something, I don't know, security will be another. I saw some parts there regarding the credentials when mounting things on BuildKit. That probably will be the other part where Joe or Terence can ask something about it if we are not like breaking the spec. So
Yep.
right. So if we can like double check the spec, the platform spec, and we do not violate something from the platform spec, or if we need to change something on the spec for platform implementers to do this, that's the kind of conversations we will need to do with the RFC. Okay, no matter the implementation. So yeah, that will be my advice on this.
Okay. I mean, this is all very good feedback. Okay, so I will, I do have some stuff in here for the spec, and I did check before I started doing this. I was like, can we do this? Does the spec prevent me from doing this without spec?
Okay.
And so far I haven't found anything. The main thing that was
Awesome.
a challenge, not really a challenge, but like trusted builder versus not trusted builder, and whether you pass the credentials. So right now, we are not passing the credentials during the phase where the build packs run, so they don't even have access to the credentials. So we're basically in line with the spec, and we're doing everything the pack does today. So I think that this should be, once everyone understands this, I think this should be fairly easy to walk through and digest. And I'm hoping that I'll update all my proof of concept, repos and stuff, and I'll just have links to everything.
Yeah.
Go and really review anything that they want and build locally. I think that probably it makes sense to have this be like you were saying, have it be kind of able to support build in the future, but I think having it just be focused on BuildKit for now, with the ability to have it do build up on another RFC, and somebody says, okay, we already implemented this with BuildKit. Now we're just going to take that same, we're going to implement the interface and add Builda and Podman support. You know what I mean? If we can What
Okay.
I'll do is I'm going to actually try to get that all working first so that the interface and all of the stuff that we do for BuildKit will support Podman out of the box. And if I have time to
Okay.
do Podman, I will, but like I'm kind of focused on BuildKit because that's I don't have Podman set
No,
up for my machine, so I'm using BuildKit. That's what I
no,
usually
no, yeah, that's fine. And I agree that, having something working will be easier for trying to abstract some concepts and write the RFC. So if you want to do it like down from to top, that's fine.
Okay.
So that part I like that. Then the other feedback will be that on the user experience part, try to see if you can find a way how to make it more generic, or
Yes.
solving it in a different way. Uh, and on the how it works, it's fine. It's fine. So if you want to keep it like, hey, this is how it's gonna work right now, because it's built kit, and we have these two modes with the Docker file or the LLD. Register authentication also, it's fine. Okay, okay. Try. Okay. Try to give it try to take a look on that the user experience part. That's fine. Keep it how you have it. If you want to work then a little bit more on the POC, go ahead. Uh, I think I think on yeah. Okay. I don't know. I think that we can have a lot of questions from
Yeah.
different parts of the RFC. So that's where I'm scared, because usually when that happens, like we lost a lot of time, going through many things. So I just want to help you on how we can like move forward with it. But that's okay. If you want to go like iterate on the POC, then we can revisit the RFC and see how we can show it to be more easy to digest. But okay, I'm
That's fine.
I'm okay
I
with
think
it.
that sounds good. I'm gonna remove. I have two life cycle changes. I'm just gonna have the skip change ownership part. I think that's the only one we really need. There, I have another one where it pulls the run image. I'm trying to minimize
Ah,
as many changes as
yeah,
possible.
but that's for the OCI layout. So try to see if you can like implement it with
Yes,
what we already have and avoid this one. Good.
cool. Yeah, and I will. I'll try to. I'll review the wording here and just try to answer as many questions as possible so that it's like for the user experience. Yeah, you mentioned having like my initial thought was to have a like you have a flag called build kit, and that's how you say, okay, I'm using build kit. And then you have another flag that says like build kit ops, and then you can pass anything you want to that one flag.
Uh-huh.
That was my thinking. And then if we do the same thing with builda, you say builda, and then you say builda ops, and you pass any flags directly to builda if you need to.
Yeah, yes, because if at the end it's just like re-exposing whatever the tool already offers, and
Yeah.
it's like a pass-through arguments, just try to solve that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna keep iterating on this, but only to make it simpler. And
Yeah.
it already works right now. And I'll make an effort to join as many of these calls and get some more feedback from people. But it sounds like uh, you don't have any like concerns. That was my main thing was like, you
No,
any concerns with it?
honestly, I don't. I don't, because we already use Docker, and we need Docker to use Pack. So we are not like putting something completely strange and new. It's Docker, and it's an evolution of Docker. So for me, the approach is correct because we are already doing that. If running a container to do the build, so you are just running a container that inside probably do some more stuff. So I do not see any problem with it, honestly, and with the approach. I think it's really good.
Cool. All right, cool. So I'll keep iterating. I know we've been chatting for a little bit. So any other thoughts before we wrap up so I can give you back some time?
No, honestly, I do not have. I try to check this before this meeting. That's all I have for now. Don't hesitate on ping me on Slack as you did yesterday. Hey, Juan, I have this. Take a look, and I will try to see it. Usually, for me, it's harder to join with this meeting that it's later. At the this one
The
is
other
early
one?
in the morning. The other one, yeah, because I have a previous one that sometimes get longer and it conflicts. So usually this one is more easy for me to join. But
Okay.
if you have something to show and you're planning to join to any meeting to discuss this, just ping me the day before. Hey, Juan, we're going to talk, and I will try to join and help you moving forward with this initiative. Okay.
Sounds good. All right, man. Yeah, I'll keep iterating. I'll see if I can create a little video demo that's easier to
Awesome.
follow. I think on the fly,
Yeah. No, don't worry.
Stuff going on. So
yeah. Don't worry. It's okay.
cool. All right, man. Well, thank you for the
Cool.
feedback. This was great. And yeah, look forward to
Nah,
chatting.
nice to see you again, man. See you.
All right, sounds good, man. Take care.
Bye.
Yep.